Hey people, this video is going to be on installing the DD-WRT software on an old router. This is an old router, it's a Linksys E3000. You should be able to install software on the newer routers, the DD-WRT, which is open source, and it's normally better than the Cisco or Linksys or D-Link or whatever you buy. So I don't know how this is going to work out. I did a video a couple years ago installing the software, and I'm using a couple routers with it. Now, brand new router, considering it is, I don't know how many years old. And what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to use the CD that came with it. Normally that's a big nightmare to do. I've got my power cable and my internet cable, and you saw I took out the router. So I'm going to plug this thing in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect. We've got a label here on what you're supposed to do, install the CD software first. I'm not going to do that if I don't have to. I just want to connect a cable, not to the it's got 4 ports. You want to connect your cable to any one of the 4 ports, but you don't want to connect it to the internet jack. And then you want to connect this to your PC and try to log in http://192.168.1.1, and hopefully you can connect to this thing. And if I can, then I'll show you what the next step is. Usually doing an upgrade works, but there's a thing called bricking. You brick your router, which means that you end up screwing up the software install on the PROM in there, the EEPROM, the erasable PROM. You end up wiping out the data and ruining this thing, so you might be able to recover from it, you might not, it's hard to say. But again, this is probably 7 years old, 10 years old, something like that. So I'm going to see if I can put some new DD-WRT software on here, and I'll show you what that's all about, and it's either going to work or not, obviously, and maybe it will make this thing better, or maybe I will just have to throw this in the trash if I am not able to unbrick it, which does happen sometimes. So I'll continue in a minute. If you like my videos, you know the thing, thumbs up, like, subscribe, go to the channel page, click on the support button and leave a donation of a couple mil if you want to. And I'm going to get this thing ready and connect it to the PC, and I'll come back. Everything's plugged in, so I'm going to power the thing up now, and we'll see what happens here. I think you can see some of the lights are flashing on and off. And mostly what you want to do is, as I said, you power it up, you connect your cable to the PC, and let this thing boot up a little bit. Remember, do not connect it to the internet port. You want to connect it to one of the output ports. And looks like it's powered up now. Things are working. It's got a little signal. Just trying to make some connections, but there are no connections. You can see this light over here. That's where the port is plugged in. So I'm going to go over to the computer right now. So far we're doing pretty good. I typed in 192.168.1.1, and that popped up this screen, so that means that the router is talking to the computer is talking to the router, and normally the default passwords are admin, DMIN, so if this works, it's going to take me into the Cisco software. No guarantee. Okay, no, I don't want this thing to remember it. Okay, so let's see where we're at now. What do we have? It'd be easier if I had the mouse set up, but the camera's blocking it. So this is the default software that comes with Cisco's system. Most of their interfaces look the same with your options. And what I want to do is I'm going to go over to administration. Boy, I just lost my signal there. I don't know why I lost my signal. I don't know what happened. Let me shut this off and get back to you. So what I want to do is I want to go over to where it says administration over at the top. And you can see it's got all that password stuff. And right over here it says firmware upgrade. And I've already downloaded, I went to the DD-WRT website and I downloaded what I needed to use. The thing that you've got to be aware of is most of these older, maybe even some of the newer ones, you have to get past the memory limitations, which means that you have to install a trailer version, a beginning version, a pre, or whatever you're going to do. You got to install a small version that allows you to install your DD-WRT software, and you can find that information on the website. After you find that file, you want to install that, and then you want to go through a rebooting process of 30-30-30 powering down, which I'll explain to you in a minute. And then you want to find out what the upgrade file is that you're able to put on here, and you install that. And if everything works right, then you've got hopefully a good piece of software, a good interface on a modem, on a router, and it should make it better. So you can see where I clicked on firmware upgrade over here. Now it's going to browse. I want to browse, so I'm going to click browse button. Now I downloaded, where's the mini one? I want the mini one. I want the mini. I downloaded the mini, which is right over here, and I'm getting a little confused now because there's a mini, there's a mega that I used a long time ago. I've got to get the right one or else I'm in big trouble. Now you can see the files over here. My version is the E3000. If I burn with anything that does not have E3000 in the file name, I will ruin my router. So you have to be really careful what you're doing. You can see at the top the file, that's the 3000, that's the first one that I'm going to install. That's going to allow me to burn DD-WRT onto my router. After I go through the whole rebooting process, then I will install the mini, which is at the bottom. They do have a mega build. They have builds that are more advanced than that, but some of those are unstable. You never really know what's going to happen unless you want to spend a lot of time trial and error and researching to find out what builds are really stable. So I'm just going to put in mini, which is the bare minimum that I really need. And here we go. I'm going to let it know where that file was. I'm going to click open. Now you see the button over there, start the upgrade. I'm going to start the upgrade. What you're supposed to do before you do this, I didn't do it, and it could brick the machine, is you were supposed to have the unit on, you're supposed to have your router on, and there is a reset button on the back of the router. You were supposed to hold that reset button for 30 seconds, not less. You can do it a little more, 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you were supposed to keep pressing that reset button. Do not let go, and unplug the power connection or turn the switch off. Keep that going for another 30 seconds. Continue to hold the reset button down and power the unit up for another 30 seconds holding the reset button. That's called a 30-30-30 reset. 30 seconds while it's plugged in, 30 seconds while it's not plugged in, 30 seconds when it gets plugged in again. And then you need to give these units maybe 3 to 5 minutes for the software to do the whole install that it needs to do. Upgrade successful. So what that means now, I'm not going to be able to show you on video. You don't really need to see me do it on video. I'm going to go click continue, and then I'm going to have to do my 30-30. I don't think it's going to take me in or show me anything. It's trying to connect. But after it does what it needs to do, if it is even able to do anything, sometimes it will connect, sometimes it won't. It's trying to connect right now. And if it does, it probably won't even be able to because it will not have the password. It changes the password, and so you have to go do a reset so that it will allow you to install a password. So while I'm going to do what I just said now, I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to press that reset button down for 30 seconds, pull the power cord for 30 seconds, and hold it again, and then plug the thing back in and hold it another 30 seconds. Then we will start all over again and see if I get into my DD-WRT. That's what happened. It will not take you in. It doesn't even detect it, doesn't know where it is, doesn't know what happened. Time to do the 30-30-30. I held it in for about 40 seconds so I could get the camera going. So this is what I'm doing is I've got a probe, I've got a dental pick down there. When you finish this, if you have problems or if you have a magnifier, go make sure that this little red switch popped out. A lot of the times with these switches, they get stuck in that opening and they don't come out, they don't pop out, and people can't figure out what's going on. So make sure that you hear the little pop, or if you don't hear the pop, look and make sure that that little plunger, the switch plunger in there, popped out and it's not stuck around that little red rim. Okay, I think that's about 30 seconds or so. So now I'm going to go plug it in. That's why I'm using, you can use a pen, or you got to use something where you know it's not going to pop loose, which is really common, and then you have to start over again. So keep it there for about 30 more seconds, and then after that, I am just going to leave this thing alone for about 5 minutes and let it do what it needs to do. It might not need to do anything. It might pop up or pop on right away, but you want to let the system, the EEPROM, do what it needs to do inside here, and then you try to log in and see if it works. And remember, you could brick the whole thing if you don't do it the right way, so take a few extra seconds and try to do it right. Okay, let's see if there's a pop. Yep, I felt the switch pop. Now I'm going to give it 5 minutes and I'll come back. It's just going through whatever it needs to do. You can see everything's flashing on and off every few seconds. I don't know if that's normal or if it's doing some programming in there now, or who knows. 5 more minutes and I'll be back. Here's the big test now. About 5 minutes into this. I'm going to try to get back in again, 192.168.1.1, and somebody sends me a message on the internet. Great. This is the big thing. Did I brick it or did I get in? Yes, DD-WRT. Oh, baby. That's the good news. Okay, things are good there. Things are definitely good there. So now what you want to do is you want to go in and change your password. That's the most important thing. Password, because I don't know what the default password is, so I'm just going to do ADMIN, ADMIN, ADMIN. So now we're going to do change password. God, I can't stand this thing on ask. Okay, so we're doing good. Check that out. We're doing good. We're in DD-WRT. And if you look right over here at the top, it says DD-WRT, and it tells you what you've installed, what the time is. But the main thing is it tells you what version you're running. And again, this is 2016. This firmware, this stuff it's 6 years old, so it's really old stuff. But that's when this unit came out, was about 6 years ago. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do the exact same process all over again. I'm going to go over here. Let's see, does the mouse show it? I'm going to go back over to admin. And I'm going to go back over to firmware upgrade. And I'm going to, after flashing, reset. Don't reset. You have an option there. Well, yeah, I want to reset to the default settings. Then I want to browse again, do my little browsing, and I'm going to click on the Mini. Remember I said there was the Mini and it was the 3000. So I'm going to click on the Mini, and then I'm going to open it, and then I'm going to let this guy go and do the same thing that I did before. I browsed it, and I'm going to click the upgrade button down over here. I can get the camera to go down there. All right, so we'll click the upgrade button, and it doesn't take that long to burn the PROM in here. It goes pretty quick. And then it's the exact same thing. What I'm going to do on this one, because I don't really know what's going on with this system, I am going to wait about 5 minutes to make sure that the burn is proper. Then I'm going to go in and do my 30-30-30 reset. And then after it resets, I'm going to wait another 5 minutes to let it do what it needs to do, if it needs to do anything. And then I'm going to go start this thing up again. And if everything works out well, I'll be in DD-WRT. I'll show you some of the stuff that's in here, and that will be the end of the video. So it does seem overwhelming. The most overwhelming part of the whole process is the research, going on the websites, going on Wiki and the DD-WRT websites, and finding out what version you want, what version you need, what you really need, not what the max is that you can put in, because a lot of the features on the big versions, you just don't need them. Maybe it's nice to have them, but you don't need them, and most people will never use them unless you're using this for a commercial business or a big system. So normally you can get away with the mini setup. The Mega has more options, more features, but let's face it, we don't need all of that garbage. Okay. It says 216 seconds. I don't know if that's true, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Well, that's good. Upgrade successful. Didn't take 216 seconds. So you don't need to watch me do the power down again, the 30, 30, 30, but that's what I'm going to do, and I'll come back when it's time to reboot. Now, you can see over there where it says it's trying to reboot. It did. Okay, it just rebooted. I'm going to give this, even though it's waiting, I'm not really sure what I want to do. Normally, you don't have a problem with this thing. I'm going to go in, I'm going to change the passwords again, and then I'm going to go do my 3030 reboot, and I'll turn the video on when it comes back and has settled for 5 minutes, and I'll see if I can get into this guy. A-D-M-I-N. Oh boy, don't want to screw that up. A-D-M-I-N. And if you screw it up and you can't remember what your password was, all you've got to do is, you don't have to reburn everything. All you need to do is press that reset button for the 30, 30, 30, and then it will take you right back to this screen, and then you can go log in and do what you need to do. Change took me in. Up at the top, what does it say? It says I've got the right version. Okay, so here comes the 30, 30, 30 reset. 30, 30 reset is done. Lights are flashing on all over the place. Power light is flashing on. Okay, the other lights are flashing on. So things are looking good, I think. Things are looking good. I'm going to... I just did the 30, 30, 30 reset. I'm going to give this thing 5 minutes just to let it do what it needs to do, if anything, with the burning process. And then I'm going to try to log into the 192.168.1.1. And if I'm successful, then this will have burned the new software to the old router. Not such a new software, but newer and better. So we've got the version over there. I don't know if it updated. Yeah, I don't think it says the... No, it says mini. Okay, so it did update. I'm going to try to log in now and see what happens. Okay. Let's backspace all of this so that I can get just to 192.168.1-1. Asking for the password. I want to change the password. That's my internet babe that wants to send me a photograph. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. And here I am making her wait while I make this video to help everybody out. I don't think anybody even uses this router anymore, but at least you get an idea of how to use it. Here we go. I put in the new password. It says your router is currently not protected and uses an unsafe default username and password. Please change it, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to change the password down here. And, oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got admin, which is definitely not really a good password. But I'm just doing that so you can see that right up at the top I've got my Not WW, I've got my DD-WRT over there. There we are. And let's just see what we've got here. Let me show you what, I'm no longer on the Cisco software, I'm on the DD-WRT. And let me move up a little bit. Okay, DD-WRT. This is what most people are going to be using. I'm going to click on the wireless tab just so you can get an idea of what this thing allows you to do. And you can see up at the top, you're going to have your wireless connection. You can select what channel it talks on, which is a nice feature. So you get one of those analyzers, the Wi-Fi analyzers you can install as an app on the computer or the cell phone. Try to find out what channels are being used in your area. Most of them are using 6. So you see if you can use, if it recommends using a different channel so that you're not fighting with your neighbors. Channel width, you've got, what's some other cool stuff? Down at the bottom, I'm not going to really get into explaining this. If you want to know, you'll look on the internet, but you can go in there and add a virtual, you can add virtual, you see up at the top where it says physical, and then you've got your wireless. You can go down, let me show you. Virtual, you can go over here and add so you could get another channel. So you could have different names, different SSIDs. See, it just gave a virtual over there. It just popped this thing up, and then you can go in there and change your name. If you want it to be, to broadcast the signal name, the network name or not. Let's go up over here. Okay, so we're on the basic settings. Now I'm going to go to wireless security. This is your option where, see, we've got the two virtuals, the virtual that I put in over there, the one that was already on the physical, and then the original one. Security mode is disabled. You can click on the security mode and pick whatever version of security you want. You can't do this stuff with Cisco. You can't do this stuff with Cisco. So all I wanted to say, and then you can go after you get that, after you get this all set up, let's just do it. You go in here and do, you got to find out which one's going to work. Some of these will work, some of them won't. WPA2, some will handle enterprise, some will not handle enterprise, but let's do the WPA. And then you get, okay, so after you do that, now you've got this other option that comes up. What do you want? AES or what? Some of these systems will work, some of these settings will work, and others won't. And then after that, you have, what's some other cool stuff you have here? So you can apply now, you've, let's go back over to the basic settings. And wireless mode is AP. You can go in here and change this to, I'm going to change my network name to WAD, and then you just go down to the bottom over here and apply settings. You can save it and apply settings later, but you apply settings and it goes in and it saves everything. And so you can see it's got some really cool advantages. Now my see over at the top, did it save it? At the very top, it's saved it as WAD. My wireless connection is called WAD. And if I go back over to my wireless security tab over here, you're going to see that my WAD, I think you can see it in the video, WAD, and it allows me to change or to set whatever setting I need for security. What's some other cool stuff? I'm going to save it. Well, I'm just going to apply settings. Invalid keys. It didn't like it because I didn't give a password. WAD. That's my password, and I can go in there and unmask it. That's my network password. And then I'll apply the settings. So you're starting to see that you have some really nice options with your DD-WRT that you don't get. Well, you get some of this stuff with the Cisco or the Linksys or the D-Link, but you get a lot more when you use this. What's one other thing I want to show? Mac filter. I'm going to show Mac filter. Mac filter is kind of cool. What Mac filter does, it can be disabled. It can be, people can get around it, but the idea of the Mac filter is that you could go in if you enabled Mac filter, I'm going to go click on enable, and then you have a choice of preventing somebody who's listed here or not preventing. So let's say that you want to do prevent clients that are not listed here. Now you go into the Mac filter, so you find out what the MAC address is of your cell phone, which is easy to find out. It's listed in the settings. You find out what the MAC address is of the cell phone or your computer. You pop it into this list over here. And then what it does, or what it's supposed to do, is if a MAC address tries to connect to the router and it's not in this list, then it can't connect to the router and it can't use your signal. So it's a nice little feature. And that concludes my video on how to install DD-WRT. Most important thing to remember is find out what version you can put in. There's always a trailer version or a beginning version, almost always, and then there is the full version, the Mega, the Mini, the Standard, there's so many different names for it. It just depends on what version of software you have installed and what model what model of router you're using, what brand. And then after that, make sure you do your 30-30-30, the most important thing that screws up so many people. There are problems. You might run into problems even if you do all of this, but your odds of running into problems go way down when you do the 30-30-30. Take your time, and now all you've got to do is you disconnect your cable and you plug the thing in like a normal router would be connected, and good luck. Again, remember, thumbs up, subscribe, like. Go to that channel page. Help me out here. Please, please, click the support button. Major donation would help me out. Thank you.